mine. I've got this crazy water-cooled computer build. It's a little exotic, and I had some friends say that I needed to put a video up on YouTube so everybody could check it out and see just how ridiculous it is. Some background on me. My dad's an engine builder. I was raised working on cars, building hot rods and whatnot, and as a child, I wasn't really too interested in cars. I was more interested in computers, back in like 1992, 1994. But as I grew up, I got into cars. And then about 2004, I got back into PC gaming again. I've been a gamer pretty much my whole life. But this is the culmination of the latest build that I've done. Built this computer about a year ago, or really just about finished it off a year ago. It's a water-cooled 8-core Intel platform, so it's a 5960X. I've got the thing overclocked to about, I think it's 4.6 gigahertz if I remember correctly. I got a quad channel DDR4 RAM in this thing. It was, I believe it's the 3200 megahertz RAM, but I'd have to check and see. It's been a while since I looked at it. I'm just now servicing the coolant on this thing since I had a friend holding it for me for a while, and I picked it back up. But yeah, it's an SRock Extreme 99 Extreme 11, two 980 Ti classifieds, overclocked to like 1560, 1550, I believe. It was my plan to eventually go to a quad fire setup. I had in this computer before 4 HD7970s that were overclocked to I think it was 1250 megahertz. Or no, 1225. The factory clock was 925. But the water cooling loop is a custom deal that I pretty much did myself. The case is a Obsidian 900D. Call it the 900 Ridiculous. But it's plenty large for lots of cooling options, like what I got here. I'm running these flexible hose here. It's a 3/4 inch inside diameter. I'm using Shark Bite. This is full copper food grade irrigation stuff, right, for hydroponics and the like. So it's a 3/4 inch input and 6 1/2-inch inside diameter outputs. And I did this because I wanted a full parallel 1/2-inch diameter cooling solution for a dual CPU quad video card setup. But turns out the X99 platform can't dual CPU, so I got this 5960X and overclocked it. Now I'm like, great. So if I want to run dual CPU, I'm going to have to go to another processor. And these things are pretty pricey. I got two 1200 watt Silent Pro Gold Cooler Master PSUs in there, because originally I had 7970s and those things are power whores, so if you throw shitloads of power at it, you shouldn't have to worry about V-droop or anything like that. Whole bunch of fans on it. It's obviously set up to run radiators internally here and here, but I didn't think that was good enough because of the cost of water cooling radiators, pretty close to about $100 and whatnot. I worked on cars my whole life, and I'm not afraid to go off the reservation and do things my own way, so I'm running a full copper radiator from a Suzuki Sidekick. So it's got two fittings on it. The top one is a, well, they're both 1 1/8, or 1 1/16. Yeah, they're both 1 1/16. So I used reducers to reduce them down. These are for intercoolers on diesel trucks, I believe. Where I got them from, I can't remember the part numbers, but I used reducers to reduce from 1 1/8, or 1 1/16 rather, down to 1 inch, and then I use this reducer to reduce from 1 inch to 3/4 inch. Same thing down here on the bottom. So I used to run a 1/2-inch inside diameter water pump on this setup, but eventually I gave up on that because it became a flow restriction, right? So what's the point of running this humongous 3/4 inch ID hose with all this parallel 1/2-inch hose, and then you're going to run a friggin' 1/2-inch pump and choke the whole system up? It used to be mounted right here, but I got rid of that. Did some research online, digging and trying to find something, an electric water pump that would do a 12 volt DC, and eventually I found this. So this is a 12 volts DC 3/4 inch inside diameter centrifugal water pump for SS Cobalts that had superchargers because they had air to water intercoolers on them. Well, they also run these on Cobra Mustangs. It's about 80 bucks, something like that. And it works out perfect for my application. So I got it mounted right here at the bottom of the radiator, so it's got a good pickup. Using a laptop power supply, a 10 amp laptop power supply that I spliced the end off of and made basically a Molex connector, and then the connector for the pump right there. It's a I think it's an EV1 fuel injector connector, is the kind of connector that the fuel pump or the water pump takes. And then I discovered after using it for about 2 weeks that this pump was never designed to run continuously. You know, it's only supposed to run during wide open throttle applications, which is rare in a street car. So the motor would get hot. So that's why I have this little box right here. Cut some holes in the box, slid the motor through there. Can't really see it. You can kind of see it down in there, the housing of the motor. And then put this high static pressure fan on here, and voila, fan shroud. So it cools the DC motor and keeps it from running overheat. I've been running this configuration like this for about, I don't know, 4 months before I had to go outside the country for about 6 months. The whole thing is run off of this 110 volt power strip right here. And the reason why I've got it like that is so you've got a little switch, right? So for cooling, I have a 110 volt cheapo little box fan here that you can find in any hardware store. I'll eventually upgrade to something a little bit better. But it's got 3 speeds. I usually keep it on the low speed. One of the benefits of having this insanely huge coolant loop on your system is it takes forever for the coolant to heat soak. So if you're not gaming, you don't even have to run the friggin' radiator and the system won't overheat. It's pretty sweet. And then you can run the fan low. It doesn't make much difference with fan speed from low, medium to high because the surface area of the radiator is so much larger than anything you could get on a PC water cooling setup, and it's overkill. But it's overkill on purpose. Built this sheet metal stand for the thing, or had a friend build it. I ain't much of a fabricator, and you know, from looking at the stand, you're gonna think that he's not either, but it works. It's ugly, but it works. And yeah, the whole reason why I have this thing on a stand like this, you notice I've got 10 foot of hose, which seems ridiculous. Well, this whole thing's pretty ridiculous. The reason why is because I take this fan, and you'll notice I have this thing parked by my back door. So I could take this whole radiator assembly, open this back door, and then put the radiator outside. So when I'm doing like extreme overclocking and benchmarks and whatnot, I'm up here in Alaska. The ambient temperature outside is 9 degrees Fahrenheit. That's somewhere in the negative degrees Celsius. It's pretty high, or pretty low. And yeah, when I'm benchmarking, I just put this radiator outside, put the fan on full tilt, and my coolant temps will get so low that I can't do this while the computer's just running. I get cold bugs. So I don't know if it's the CPU that's crashing from being too cold or the GPUs that's crashing at this point, but I can get my coolant temps well below 0 degrees Celsius because when I'm benchmarking this thing, all my indication, even in a wide open load and these video cards and the CPU overclocked to freaking maximum, the core temps on everything never gets above like 20, which is freaking awesome. But I'm not much of a hardcore software guy, so I don't know what's causing the glitch to cause the thing to crash when it gets that cold. You know, I gotta do some more research into liquid nitrogen and see how those guys are getting around the cold bugs and whatnot. I assume it's just disabling lots of cores, but this is my ridiculous water cooling build. I got a lot of money in this thing over time, you know, got kind of out of hand, but it's awesome. I went to the 5960X. I had a 6-core i7 before that, back when X99 first came out, and I was pretty sure that I was CPU bottlenecked, and sure enough, that's exactly what it was. As soon as I went up to the 5960X and then overclocked that hooker to about 4.6, then my scores started going up a lot on the benchmarks, obviously, because what was pulling me down was the physics portion of the benchmark. Just didn't have enough CPU horsepower to handle it. For a monitor, I'm running a, I forget who makes this thing, but it's the same display as the Philips. It's a 4K 60 Hertz monitor. Back when this came out, this was the only 60 Hertz 4K, this and the Philips. It was about $800 when I got it, something like that. But it's a pretty nice piece, all in all. It runs just about any game 4K Ultra at about 60 FPS, a little bit higher. Depends on what you're playing and how optimized your game is. Like, if the game sucks and it's not very well optimized, then it's going to run like crap. Like, what's that game? Arc. Arc doesn't support multi-GPU at all because it's just a poorly optimized game. That was one thing I discovered when I was running 4 7970s that were overclocked. Really good optimized games like Metal Gear Solid 5 ran great on that quad VGA setup. It was freaking awesome. I'd get 4K 60 frames, no problems. And then I'd go over to some game like Arc where you're like single GPU limited, and it would just get slaughtered. Like, it wouldn't even run 4K, which was kind of pissing me off. But that's why I did a whole lot of this. Yeah. But that's it. Hope y'all enjoyed looking at this video of my messy house and my wacky computer build. Peace out.